Welcome back into the Rowdy Studio. I'm Stephen Levine. This is Tom Vandervoort. It was announced late yesterday afternoon Kurt Busch will be replacing Regan Smith in the Furniture Row Chevy, the number 78.
And the Great Redemption Tour continues.
And I just have to say, I love this move. I think it is a brilliant move all the way around.
Look, it makes total sense. I agree with you in that sense, but I still think Regan Smith is a pretty talented driver.
Look, I think Regan Smith has potential, but are you going to really
say he could go with this race team?
Well, you also can't compare Regan Smith with Kurt Busch. That's a no-brainer, man.
From a talent standpoint, that's correct. And I think this is the kind of a team that Kurt Busch needed to hook up with. This is the kind of a team that can use his talent where they probably haven't, Regan Smith won Darlington last year.
He did.
Right? So they have been known to put some good cars on the racetrack. I think this year, given their relationship with Childress, you look at the Childress stuff and you'd have to say that whole group is probably behind, which made it pretty tough for Regan Smith. But you get Kurt Busch over there, let's assume that Childress regresses a little bit towards the mean. In other words, gets better next year.
Progresses towards the mean.
Correct. So I think, well, you regress towards the middle. In any case, I think you'll see a pretty decent performance out of Kurt Busch next year.
I agree. And here is, and let's be honest, Furniture Row I think is a better team than Phoenix Racing. Furniture Row has made a longer-term, full-time commitment to this sport than Phoenix Racing, who has danced in and out. But here's why I really like this move. Just put the competition aspect of it aside for a moment.
I will not.
Kurt Busch is joining a team in which the team and the sponsor are one and the same, much like the old Red Bull Racing. So the potential for Kurt Busch to say or do something asinine and alienate his sponsor is greatly reduced.
Well, he can alienate both his team and his sponsor at the same time.
He can.
That's what you're saying.
But the
team knows what it's getting into, and they don't have to go sell the sponsor on it.
Exactly.
They make the decision.
And the team, the team and the sponsor aren't going to be working at cross purposes necessarily to the degree that maybe a Shell and a Penske might. If Shell doesn't like the way Kurt Busch is acting, well, I think that the potential for that sort of conflict is reduced.
Well, I think the more important point might be this, which is Kurt Busch now is at the point where the incentives for him to control himself, if that is possible, are pretty great, given the way this season has gone and given what happened earlier this season. This is kind of like he's got to know, if I take this, I perform on the track and off the track, I've got a chance to get back to one of those top-tier teams. But if I don't, then that's probably the end of it.
But Tom, we said the same thing in the offseason, and then he comes out and he verbally assaults Bob Pockrass of Sporting News this season when we already said, well, the incentive is for him to,
I agree. I think the question would be, can he do it? Right? But I think if you're Furniture Row, it's like, if I'm going to take a chance on a guy right now, I need performance. I know he's a talent. He's a championship caliber talent. If I'm going to take a chance on a guy like that, this is the time to do it.
I think Kurt Busch has proven this year, when the stakes were perhaps at their highest, when there was more pressure, more eyeballs on him than ever before, I think he has proven that he cannot necessarily toe the line. He cannot necessarily be a good boy, and that's why I think this is a really good place for him because, again, you've got that sponsor, competition, synchronicity.
We'll see.
All right, for Tom Vandervoort, I'm Stephen Levine. Thanks for watching.